Okay, this is my Harbor Freight winch. I made this, actually didn't design it. I kind of copied what was in the Norwood Frontier sawmill thing. And this is a 2-inch tube, which is going to go, this is an 1.5-inch square tube. So the heads are going to go on there. This end is going to go into this 2-inch square tube. This 1.5-inch square tube is going to go into 2-inch tube that gets mounted to the trailer. So that's actually the 4-foot long piece, and I'm working on how to attach it to the trailer. Okay, so the intent is to put the winch, attach it here, so I can roll logs up onto my trailer. And the thought was, we're gonna mount this tube here. So the question is, how do I mount that? And it's gonna go all the way to the other side, because, trying to pull up a 1,000-pound log, I don't want to twist. That's aluminum seat channel. I don't want to do that. So how do we do that? So initially, my thought was, this is a 2-inch channel. This is 2.5-inch angle. I was gonna weld it like that and bolt it to here, and then do on the other end of this is a short piece, but on the other end of the 4-foot piece, I would weld another one and bolt it into there. Things that made me concerned was, number one, that's a pretty precision length. Once I weld it, I have no give. If I weld it too short, then it's not going to fit. If I weld it too far, then I got to put spacers or something. So I wanted a different way to attach the other side. So asking for some guidance, this is kind of came up. It's just gonna would bolt, instead of bolting on the inside, it's gonna bolt this way, and then I'm gonna weld this plate here. So this is gonna sit on top like that. This will be bolted, and then I'm gonna line it up, and I can match drill the 2 holes that will hold this 2-inch tube with this plate attached. And that way I match drill it once the brackets are in there, and I have this plate welded on, and then I can just match drill the holes that I need. And so that would take care of the length. But after trying some setup pieces here, what also became very evident is, if I just am, my welding skills aren't the greatest, right? So I'm off just a little bit. This side ain't gonna line up exactly across with the other side. It's gonna be off at an angle. My bracket's here, and it's already welded. So I have thought of something else. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna put plate on each end, and we're gonna put we'll put a plate here, and we'll turn this one around, so it's going to be like that. So I'll bolt these in, and then I will clamp this bar to the bracket, and then match drill. So even though my welds may be really crappy and off, my measurements off, at the end of the day it will fit, because I'll just match drill the damn thing and grind whatever doesn't fit. And after further review of the play on the field, this was supposed to bolt here, and a 2-inch tube was going to be below it. So if I put this here and I try to feel underneath, like the tube's going to be here, like there's going to be like limited access to get wrenches and things in there. So I think it's just in everyone's best interest if I re-drill it to be out this way. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to drill up those holes, and then we're going to prep another plate to weld to the tube. All right, so we made this into like a little piece of Swiss cheese. That's our new mounting holes there, and that's where we're going to mount our tube with plate. And just for shits and giggles, I was trying to line up, and we can see that they do not line up. And it turns out that I measured a 1/2 inch from the outside, and they are not exactly the same. They're supposed to be 4 inches, and you can kind of see that one is a little bit bigger than 4 inches. So that's why we're going to match drill. All right, so here's one of our plates that's going to get welded like that. I would need another one now. I originally had cut it out of this 3/16, 4 inches by 5 inches, 3/16. I do need some of this, most of it, for another project. So I stopped at the metal supermarket today, and this is in the drop, I guess the drop bins or whatever. So this is exactly 5 by 4 like this. So I wouldn't have to use this. I thought this was 3/16, but it turns out when I use a caliper, is actually a 1/4 inch. So do I want to cut a big piece or use a thicker than needed piece? And that's 3/16 is probably even too thick. So this is definitely way too thick, but it's already cut. I just need to grind it, and then I can weld it on. It is thicker. I'd have to use more poop on my welder. But maybe we'll try it. It was calling me. It was like, look at me, 4 by 5. I had just a tape rule. I go, oh, it's 3/16, awesome. So I think it wants to be part of my project. I think this piece wants to be saved for my other project. All right, so I ground where the weld is going to be on the tube and where the weld is going to be on the plate on both of them. Yep, so I think we're getting pretty close to setting up to start some welds. I may take this one before it gets dark and drill the holes on a trailer so that's all set. Just so I know before I weld that that is going to work. Okay, so here's the bracket. We drilled that hole, and it's going to be in place. And now we need to weld that plate to the 2-inch square tube, and then we'll match drill through those 2 holes. But I'm not going to leave this on because I need to go pick up a lawnmower tomorrow for my mother-in-law, and it's supposed to rain maybe, so I don't want this to get all rusty before I paint it, or at least try it out. So on to welding. All right, so this is 2 5/8, and can we prove that in a court of law? 2 5/8, and let's see if we can get it as lined as we can. All right, that's what I got. Okay, so here is a graph of welding wire speed versus thickness that I had done based on some welding tests I did. But you can see we kind of stopped at 1/8, and I'm up to 3/16. So I extrapolated with a line, and it looks like to get to 0.188, which is 3/16, I think I need 400. What does that say? Inches per minute. And this is my welding voltage versus thickness. So at 0.125, we were like 18.7. So I extrapolated. Let's have a look. So at 0.188 or so, we should be using a voltage of about 20, 21 or so. So maybe we'll start there and see. 400. All right, so this is 3/16. This is 1/8 inch tubing. So that's where we were, I think, doing 1/8 inch. And we're saying for 3/16 we wanted 400 and like 20. So maybe we'll start with that. But first, I gotta go close up the pool, get the pool cover on. It's getting dark, and it's supposed to be cold tomorrow. Well, 70, so pool's 85. We want it to stay warm for the kids, grandkids. All right, so we got that welded up. That's how it's gonna sit underneath the trailer. Let's take a look at some of these welds. So, nothing pretty or sacred about any of these things, but I will say that over here, this is 3/16. You can kind of see there's some heat marks coming through. Right, and if you look on the inside of the tube, which I don't think I can show you very good. No. So this was 3/16. This was 1/4 inch. And you can see the same settings. I forgot I should change them and put them up, but there was no heat marks there. Let's just see if we can't get up. Let's see on the inside. You can see on the inside there's some heat marks. Nothing coming through though. But all right.